Back in 2000, as a young motorcycle journalist, if you had told me that one day I would have my dream garage together, I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't even have enough to eat. Work was exciting, but the struggle was real, and the dream, it felt like it was too large. Think about your life as it is today and eliminate the idea that you have a dream and you're chasing it. You see how colorless that feels? And that's my point. My point is, we must dream. We are designed to dream. Human beings are designed to ask for more than they get, to take it from life and make a better life for themselves. That's how we live. That's how we were designed to live. And no dream is too big. The bigger the dream is, the more work you have to put into it, the longer the chase will be. But that pays back because your sense of achievement, it comes straight from the idea that you dreamt too large. So don't be afraid. It's a dream. And if you're dreaming it, you're feeling it, it's worth chasing. I think I discovered at a really young age that motorcycles make me happy. I don't think it started from a very nice place because I had a friend in class 11 who already had a motorcycle. I didn't. And I think the longing for the motorcycle created a hole in my heart so deep that I've spent the next, 27 years trying to fill it, 25 years riding them, 23 years reviewing them. And I think there's space for more. We know riders who say stuff like, I'm only happy at the racetrack, or I'm only happy out on the highway, or you hate traffic and all of this, right? I've thought about my career as a series of 40-second commutes because we're on the 10th floor of my house. It takes 40 seconds for the lift to get to the ground floor. I get to the ground floor, I get on a motorcycle, my commute is done. So whether it's raining outside, whether Bombay is stuck in a jam, whether I'm out for an 800-kilometer day, whether I'm headed to the racetrack, which is 1,300 kilometers away, I don't care. I'm on a motorcycle, I'm happy, my life is settled and complete. And as I sit here today, I've not actually ridden a motorcycle in I think about 130 days odd. So I have this like craving to get back on a motorcycle, go somewhere and do something. But the idea of Reboot and the reason why I'm not on a motorcycle is because if you continue to do what you've been doing, you will continue to do what you do because you can't step out far enough to have perspective and see the big picture and say, what's really going on? But being inside the system tends to blind you. So I'm stepping out. The thing that I hold the closest to me is that I must tell the truth. And if you think of truth as the foundation, then on that and from that are the principles I live by. There are 3 of them. The first one comes from my mother, and she said, do the best you can. You didn't have to like everything that you had to do, but if you were going to accept that you had to do it, that there was no other choice but to do the absolute best you could. The second idea I picked up in school. I was on the school basketball and football teams. There were players who were much better than me, so I was always the substitute player. And as a substitute, I suppose I could have taken it easy, right? But we had to do the best we could, and so I always showed up. And in time I realized, the guy who you trust, it's the guy who always shows up. That's the person you trust. The third principle I picked up in my first job, and they said, when you're confronted with a problem, you take it and you divide it into two halves. One contains everything that you can do something about. And the other half, it doesn't matter. Because whether it frustrates you, whether you're angry with it, whether you put effort into it or not, you can't change the rest of it. It's these three principles, I think, that allow me to simplify my life to this extent, to have such clarity over things that I want to do next. In fact, these three ideas would help me navigate my marriage. Oh boy, that was a very embarrassing day. So what Arti asked me that day was, if I were to ask you the things you love in life and how would you rank them, how would me and motorcycles stack up? And since I don't lie to anyone, including my wife, I obviously said motorcycles outrank you. And if you're trying to compete with the motorcycle, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that did not go down very well until she realized that the value of my honesty was greater than the fact that she was coming second to motorcycles. And Arti was a really sweet person, so I don't think that's something she'd hold against me, or she did hold against me, but yeah, motorcycles came first. I'm very proud that I told the woman that I loved the most in my life that she was second. I'm also proud that I didn't lie, so win-win. So where would you like to go and eat today? Your rolling eyes looks very nice on camera. Can you actually make a comment about where you want to go and eat?
One doesn't know. One doesn't really care as long as one is together with good company.
Arti was probably the nicest human being on earth. And I know that implies that the earth is less nice now that she's not there. But the thing about Arti that most people will never see, except for the guys at the hospital, of course, is that for the 13 years that we fought that disease, we would show up at the hospital 3 times a week for dialysis, and she would be the happiest, calmest, strongest person in the hospital by absolutely miles. From the guard at the gate of the hospital to the nurses in the intensive care unit to all the people in the dialysis unit, they all knew Arti as that person who would come to dialysis and smile through everything, no matter how much pain she was going through at the time. Human beings who struggle so much in their own lives while inspiring everybody else simultaneously, constantly, for years together, I don't think you're going to find many of them. She was one of them. I've had calls 3 or 4 years after her death from people that she's met once and done an interview saying, can I just speak to Arti? And I still have a number on my phone. And I'll have to tell them that, oh, she expired 3-4 years ago, whatever. And the reaction has always been universally the exact same, and they're in shock. And the next sentence that comes out of their mouth after, oh my God, that's terrible, is, she was such a nice person. And the thing about it is that I am probably the exact opposite of that. I am an extremely nice person to a very, very select group of human beings. Everybody else are not going to see that side of me very easily. Almost literally, you have to earn it. And Arti made that recognition very, very easy for people. And in that sense, she was a goddess, and she wanted to take care of everybody, me most of all. And I think while she was with me, I was a much nicer human being to anybody I ever met. So if I'm nice to you, like without reason, it's probably because I stopped for a moment and thought about what would Arti do? And that's what happened next. So every single time, at every single moment when I have a big decision to make, she's there and she's informing all of those decisions. And as much, I suppose, why I want to make a difference to your life with motorcycles and your life with cars has something to do with what Arti taught me, which is you do your thing and that's fine. You chase your dream and that's fine. If you can help somebody else chase their dream too while you're at it without getting distracted, and it's 10% more effort, why shouldn't you do it? Why should it stop you? And here we are. What is good? What's better? What's important? What's not? What's enough? What is perfection? So many questions. As long as we're looking for answers, we have hope. And hope, it's life. Today, I have a dream garage, but one time, it was just a dream. Sounds familiar? Back in the day, I did get myself a Honda 750, and almost immediately, I had to stop eating 2 times a week just to manage the EMI and its upkeep. For those 9 months, I was miserable, it was amazing, and I learned lots. I understood that building the dream garage would take time and a lot of effort. It was distant, but not impossible. In fact, since then, every day for 15 years, one step every day has brought it closer and closer to reality, and it's beyond you only and only if you accept defeat. But today, don't you think we accept the status quo a little bit too easily? Poor roads, mechanics who don't care, inept dealers. We shrug, we move on. But we have good roads and honest dealers and amazing mechanics. Why shouldn't that be the only normal that you're willing to accept? No problem is too large. We just solve it one step at a time. And my first step is MotorInc. It's a place for you and me to share our passion and nurture it. A place where we build the best version of our slice of the world. I know it sounds difficult, but I think it can be done. Because 23 years ago, I started alone. But today, you're here with me right at the beginning, and so is Kartikeya singing. We get one life to live, love, and laugh. We help you move better through the world and towards your dreams. We are a movement about movement. Join us.